What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel. And I am back with yet another album review, and today I was kind of torn on what to talk about for my fourth review this week, so I put it up to a poll for you guys to vote on in the community tab on my YouTube page, and this one won by about 6-8%. I am talking about the latest offering from Cult of Fire, the one who is made of smoke. This also came out on March 28th, I should say, this time on Beyond Eyes Records, and this is the band's technically fifth studio full-length, although you could also say it's their fourth, because they're, I guess, double or two different albums that came out 5 years ago are either separate or put together into one, who really knows. But regardless, this is the new album from Cult of Fire. Now, I've only heard this band courtesy of my former Horseman podcast co-host Hannah Klein, because she is a massive black metal freak and she always talked about this band, but I never listened to them until now. So yeah, for those who don't know, Cult of Fire, they are a Czechian. They're described as epic black metal, which I would say that's accurate, but I would probably more or less just call them melodic black metal. If anything else, I think that's a little more tasty sounding to me, at least. But yeah, I saw the bands that they were compared to, bands like Batushka, Mugwa, Emperor, Watain, like bands along those lines. So I thought, okay, I might be in for something pretty cool. And for the most part, this was a cool album, kicking things off with the track Loss, which was more or less an intro track, and it has sounds like kids yelling, but musically there's a lot of beautiful melody on here, like clean melodies that turn somber. It's lush, it's pretty, and then you even get like a lead melody, like a solo melody, kind of like a David Gilmour kind of feeling. And then into the real meat of the album, kicking off with this track Morning. And pretty much, like I said, like every song on here has great melody all throughout, especially on this track, Morning. It's melodic guitars pretty much the entire way through. And dare I say, this track borders on almost classic heavy metal, because it gets into this like double time rhythm, but you do get your black metal blast beats and tremolo harmonies that show up. But this is one of a few songs on the album where you get a true blue guitar solo. I would say this track, Blessing, and to a lesser degree the song Joy, those three songs have some pretty cool lead work. But with the track Morning, there's great harmonized lead melodies happening, which I thought was a real nice touch to the track. And then into the song Anger, this is where the black metal really gets pushed more into your face. Darker atmosphere, although you get some like creepy moans and breathing before it unleashes into aggression. Almost to the level of a band like Watain, I would say, with these tremolos and blasts. They're so aggressive and gnarly, it just makes you think of Swedish black metal for the most part. And there's actually some groove that show up on here, and also the riffs do turn even more sinister somehow. But then all of a sudden, the mood shifts to where it feels more triumphant, more epic, I guess you could say. And I guess that's where the whole epic label comes in for this band's genre descriptor. But regardless, it was a nice, real good black metal song to kind of propel things a little bit more forward as the album goes on. And then we get into the song Doom, which is spelled D-H-O-O-M. Thought that was kind of funny. But this one sort of kicks off another aspect of the album that really shows up here on the second half, and that's tribal percussion. And I'm a big sucker for tribal percussion in metal. And there's some really cool tribal percussion on here with a soaring guitar melody on top, before you get these like cool alternate patterns with like a chugging riff and then into a blast beat. But of course, some tremolos show up once again, and then it goes into more of a double time gallop, and there's even some wailing clean vocals. Like there are some wailing female vocals that show up here as well as on the track Anger, but I like how with Doom, the song does turn more intense towards the end. And then the song Blessing kind of returns back to the more beautiful, lush guitars. Although I would say this track feels the most different out of all the other songs. It feels a little more rock forward for the most part, like a 70s rock vibe. But of course, tribal percussion and even a cool drum groove. The track Joy starts off with this like guitar flourish, or not guitar flourish, drum flourish, into a galloping rhythm and riff that once again kind of gets back to some classic heavy metal territory before you just unleash into tremolo melodies and blast beats. Groove returns once again, and again, these clean melodies, whenever they pop up, these clean melodies are just really, really pretty. And it turns triumphant again. So it was like this track in Anger likes to have these peaks and valleys when it comes to the feeling, whether it feels more aggressive or more triumphant. And it doesn't transition the smoothest, but it's done effectively in terms of like making you go from, ooh, this sounds evil, oh wow, this feels like we should march right in the battle. And then we get into the closer, There Is More to Lose, and it's almost doomy. Like there's some more doomy, slower sections on this track, but of course, black metal tremolos, blast beats show up. It does get back to being a little bit more sinister, a little bit more aggressive, a little more evil sounding, but you do get some like grooves. It also gets atonal, I should say. Every once in a while, some of these guitar parts do get more on the atonal side of things before you get back to more tribal percussion. So yeah, musically, they're kind of going for a lot of different moods. Like one moment you can feel really uncomfortable, one moment you can feel a little sinister, a little evil, a little darker, and then another mood just makes you feel good and makes you feel like you can conquer the world however you see fit. Now, as far as any complaints go, I will say I wasn't the biggest fan of the snare sound on this album. And really the big issue I had was the song Morning. While it's a really good song, I think there could have been some clean vocals on that song. I feel like the blackened screams kind of felt a little out of place on that song for me because of the more almost classic metal vibes it's got going. I just didn't think that the screaming vocals really fit the bill on that song. But overall, this is still some pretty good stuff. I am going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. For my first time checking out this band, I liked what I heard for the most part. It's triumphant, it's still aggressive at times, so if you are a fan of, I would say, Emperor, Mugwa, and Watain, I'd say definitely give this a listen. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But until next time, thank you for watching. Keep your horns high and your dreams wet.